precept. Captain Shim, break it down to no meat left. Line upon line in the word, make you respect. History collegiate, when we teach it, brains reset. You listening to precept on precept. Captain Shim, break it down to no meat left. Line upon line, the word make you respect. History collegiate, when we teach it, brains reset. Putting in the work for the most high. Valley of the bones coming back and we gon' ride. Showing you our past didn't start with that boat ride. We a nation made of kings, yeah, we chose right. Bringing our identity back. We the praise of the Lord, they pretend to be that. Judah is something special, they can never be that. We raise vengeance with the knowledge so our enemies crack. In fact, listen to the class and the topic. Bomb subject matter, breakdowns atomic. Gathering the people, the whole duty of prophets.
Hey, shalom, 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 Israel. Hey, Most High Christ, bless to everybody in the house. Welcome to Precept upon Precept. I am your host, Captain Shem, and to my left, the lone brother for now.
Hey, shalom, Israel, Officer Mikael.
We are Precept upon Precept. Officer Matt is in the building here to tend to some technical difficulties, which he will be right back. Shout out to Russia. Why? Because the Most High is stirring up the battle. How do we know that? Pull up a video of RT. Just pull up anyone. Officer Iran was in the spirit earlier. By the way, he's also related to a brother named Soldier Asa. That brother is overweight, and he claims to be on a juice cleanse, and he never sticks. He's full of crap. The cameraman right behind the camera. I will get a shot of him later on. But anyways, we're going to pull up. There it goes right there. Iran, there you go. Pull up a couple of these videos. We're just going to briefly touch the fact that, remember, those of you who are faithful listeners to Precept upon, we had 3 shows. First, we started with Kazakhstan. And then we showed you the build-up geographically between Kazakhstan and the Ukraine. Sure enough, NATO and the UK, and the, not UK, NATO and the United Nations, or NATO rather, they started internal turmoil inside the Ukraine, and guess what? Russia is not having that because they're on the Ukraine, the eastern border of the Ukraine is not far at all from the capital of Russia, which is Moscow. So if you're a president of the largest country on earth with the most military nuclear weapons, and there is infiltration close to your eastern border, which is close to your capital city, what the hell are you supposed to do? Okay, look, Russia is the damn devil. The United States is, they're all a bunch of Edomite damn devils, and the Lord's behind it all. But let's play that video. 1 second. Matter of fact, real quick, let's get Matthew 24. We're going to read Matthew 24 right quick. And there should be wars and rumors of wars, because now the rumors of war came. Now there is a war. There is a war. Now, who started it? We know the United States and the alphabet boys and their European counterparts who are behind the great Satan. They're starting all that crap. Matthew 24. In verse, you know what I want.
The book of Matthew, chapter 24, and verse 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled.
Because last month we focused on the rumors of wars. But the Bible also says, read it again.
And ye shall hear wars.
You shall hear wars. You know what's so profound about that? You know how we're hearing the war right now? Through social media. We're about to right now show you a video. We're going to hear, literally, we're going to hear the combat noises of the missiles and things of that nature. Read on.
Ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars.
We're going to hear of wars. We're about to hear in a minute. Come on.
See that ye be not troubled.
And you know what? What's happening right now with everybody else is, oh, gas is going to go up to $10 a gallon. All these different things. What are we going to do? The 12 tribes of Israel that are in the spirit of Christ, we are waiting for our deliverer to come. We are waiting for Christ's return. And during this time, you so-called blacks and Hispanics who are the 12 tribes, and you awakened Israelites, now more than ever, you should be pushing these flyer missions. You should be teaching hard at camp. You should be doing everything you can to wake up the 12 tribes. Biblical smoke is taking off. These are the things we should be doing. We're amidst of all of these things that are going on. Okay? Play that. You got that?
Жесть. Самолет, ёпта.
Now, pause real quick. So, this is an RT News clip. And what you're going to find is if you subscribe to this, all day yesterday or half the day and today, there's been nothing but video after video after video. Because unlike the last Iraq war, right, social media, in particular, the modern smartphone has become so much more advanced. Can you imagine if they had iPhone 12s and 11s and 13s back in the second Gulf War, or the first one for that matter? Now they have all that. They're just taking out their iPhone 13 and crystal clear video. So they can't hide it now. You're going to see all these things. It's taking place in major cities in the Ukraine. Can we play on? Yeah, get us another one. Damn. So if you notice, this is raw footage. This ain't no edited version where there's a anchorman that comes on, and this is what's going on right now. And you can thank your friendly neighborhood, the United States white man and his allies and affiliates that are doing all of these things. The same thing they did in Kazakhstan. What did Russia do with them? They sent the military in, squelched it, and moved out. It's the same thing that's going on right now, only that the Ukraine is closer to Moscow than Kazakhstan was. All right? Pull up a map real quick, and then we're going to move on. We got a great show tonight. Pull up a map of the Ukraine and Russia. Just whatever you get. Geographically speaking, there is a reason why Russia is so up in arms. Their borders are being encroached, and NATO, of course, led by the United States, of course they have nuclear capabilities. Of course they do. Why? If that's like them, we talked about last show and the show before that on the three-part series. Can you imagine somebody going to Montreal, Canada, with a force that was opposed to the United States, or going to Guadalajara, Mexico, or Mexico City, or relatively close city, Cuba, for that matter, and you're not going to launch preventative measures? You're not going to do anything? You're crazy. Show that map. Okay, that's a good map right there. So when we look at the center, and officers, please, at any time, I'm just setting the stage. Russia is in orange. Look at the size of Russia. It's the biggest country in the entire planet Earth. Look at the Ukraine. Ukraine's in pink. Look at the capital of Ukraine, which is Kyiv. Look at how close it is, almost straight up 3 o'clock. Look at the clock. Directly east. Oh, there's Moscow, the capital of the one of the most powerful countries. They're in the eastern part, the more southeastern part that encroaches into Russia. And Russia's not supposed to be worried? Are you crazy? So the war is right now going on, and they should secure their border. So that was, and you brothers, you got something real quick, please, before we move on.
Russia has ships in the Black Sea. All right, Russia got ships in the Black Sea. Go back to that map. Russia has ships in the Black Sea, right there, right beneath Ukraine. The United States has ships on the other side of Turkey, all right, in the Mediterranean Sea. They're still there. Romania is an ally of the United States. I was in Iraq with a bunch of them. Poland is an ally of the United States. I was in Iraq with a bunch of them. The Ukraine is easy pickings. They're already being coerced into joining NATO. Russia is not about to allow that because, I mean, by international law, Ukraine can't join NATO. And when you have stuff like this, all it takes is for somebody to let the alphabet boys in. The alphabet boys cause a stir.
Mm-hmm.
And then all we see is the retaliation of Russia.
And now Russia's the villain and Putin is a gangster.
Exactly. Just like with Japan and Pearl Harbor. With Japan and Pearl Harbor, a lot of people don't know it, but when you look into the history behind Japan and Pearl Harbor, the United States blew up a supply ship of Japan. Japan said, we're going to take that as an act of war because there was a bunch of stuff that was happening. Japan was bringing supplies from one part of the earth to the next, and it was riding in U.S. waters. Like, how the hell can you claim waters?
Hey,
you know what I'm saying?
Check this out. Exactly. Check this out. If the U.S. can move freely within Ukraine, which they are able to do, and you drive, let's just say, 100 miles from Russia's border, you set up 200 miles from Russia's border, you fire one missile that goes into Russia, now that's a declaration of war. And you sending your operatives in there, and the Ukraine, they probably didn't want, the Ukraine just want to get some sort of liberation. They put the puppet governments in and to say, hey, we want to be part of NATO, right? But the United States is going to sacrifice a lot of innocent people, because it's all over power and control. And the Most High are not going to allow this. Anyways, so we could do a whole show into this. Without that being said, we're going to change gears. Next week, we're going to come back to the Lord Will Life's Laugh. But right now, I want you to do me a favor. This week, we're going to go into, damn, it's hot up in here. We're going to go into the white man gives February to so-called Negroes in America as, look, that's your History Month. Be happy with it. So we are going to be going into black inventors. And we're going to go into some inventors that some of y'all might not have known about. And it's something that is going to be pretty inspirational to a lot of you. I want to start first with, real quick, there's an article. Show the meme. I'm sorry, Akim, you're right. Show the meme. Mikhail put up a great meme. So the meme is Forgotten Black Inventors. And some of those faces you might recognize, some of them you might not. All of them are American black men. And it's amazing because even without color, you can see they have different facial features, different skin tones, different sized lips and noses, but those are all Israelites, and they're all children of the slave trade. And they're all geniuses, wonderful, powerful, and creative men. So pull up the article. We're going to try to get through the show. Pull up the article that I had posted. Bear with me. It is doggone.
Hey, you know what's heavy? You know what's heavy, especially with what we just witnessed with Ukraine and Russia, the video. You talked about the iPhone 13s and the crystal clear video. All that would not be possible without black inventors.
Yes! Oh, you're going to get into that, right?
The microchip for the cell phone.
Hey, Mikhail, you got to get into that.
Yeah, we do.
Real quick, I want to just, yes, get me Article 3. Those of you who might know me, two things I really have been focused on lately in the last year or two. Number one is the pursuit to get people who have caloric surpluses around their midsection and their backs to lose that. The second thing is community gardens. I've been really trying to push both of them on Israel. I'm a lot more rude with the brothers because they don't need to be the size of small Japanese imports. Terrible joke, brothers. Go ahead and shit that up there. All right, so we're going to read through this. This is a phenomenal article. Let's start off.
Black inventors who reshaped American gardening and farming.
So oftentimes you hear about, George Washington Carver with the peanut, and you'll hear about the traffic light. And you also hear about the first other common ones that you know about from general history. We're going to go into some agricultural inventions that a lot of us might not have known that black people created. And one of the ones I'm most proud of is permaculture. I learned this for the first time. Let's just go ahead and go read through this. Come on.
The achievements of George Washington Carver, the 19th century scientist credited with hundreds of inventions, including 300 uses for peanuts, have landed him in American history textbooks.
Pretty much everybody's heard about George Washington Carver and the peanuts, but he actually has a lot more that he was responsible for. But for now, we're going to read on.
But many other agricultural practices, innovations, and foods that traveled with enslaved people from West Africa or were developed by their descendants remain unsung despite having revolutionized the way we eat, farm, and garden.
So that's the point. The revolutionary way that slaves were able to change the way that we eat, farm, and garden. This is some heavy information. Let's read on.
Among the medical and food staples introduced by the African diaspora were sorghum, millet, African rice, yams, black-eyed peas.
Stop real quick. So many of the American staple foods were not native to this country. And later on they'll say it was either the slave masters that decided to purchase it. A lot of our forefathers used to carry seeds on them. And some of them, when they got trapped and caught, they carried the seeds with them over on the slave ships, and then were able to grab them. And they'll just try to say the slave masters, the slave masters stopped. How do you know what grows there? They live there. Okay, read on.
Sorghum, millet, African rice, yams, black-eyed peas, watermelon, eggplant, okra, sesame, and kola nut, whose extract was a main ingredient in the original Coca-Cola recipe.
Read on.
Whether captives smuggled seeds and plants from aboard slave ships or captains purchased them in Africa for planting in America.
See, that's the BS. They don't want to credit. I believe that a lot of our forefathers had the hindsight and the understanding that they heard, well, these brothers and sisters got captured. Be careful when you're going out. Maybe they were told to carry seeds with them just in case something happened to them. For watermelons to make it over here, we were responsible for that. For millet and these different black-eyed peas, our forefathers. Now, there's a whole lot more. Read on. This is a beautiful article.
Key components of the West African diet also journeyed along the Middle Passage across the Atlantic.
Scroll down.
After long days spent working on the plantation fields, many enslaved people grew their own gardens to supplement their meager rations.
So even after being oppressed and going through slavery, working all day, we still had the forthrightness and the understanding to have our own personal gardens. So I want to hear anything about you damn Babylonianized Israelites. Talking about I work all day. These slaves had their own, your forefathers had their own gardens in the midst of being slaves. So we can't, as brothers and sisters, work a 9 to 5, or even if you work a job in a part, you can't set up a garden and you have land. You can't do that. You have no excuse. And we're gonna fix stuff. We're gonna fix stuff with our help, because our forefathers had no choice and they still did it. Read on.
The plantation owners could then force them to show them how to grow those foods, said Judith Carney, a professor of geography at UCLA and co-author of In the Shadow of Slavery, Africa's Botanical Legacy in the Atlantic World.
So what the slave master figured out was, wait a minute, how are my niggers out there, how they being so healthy? Because it wasn't just this chitlins and the crap that we had our own stuff. And so the white man said, that looks pretty good. You know what? I'm going to take what these niggers over here have. I'm going to make a cash crop out of it. So they stole our ideas from us. Y'all got to see what the power we had. Even as slaves, we was able to transport our things that we knew how to grow in a different land, in a different soil, still make it grow. We are the most powerful people on the planet Earth.
And then they mind effed us, Cap, because then they made stuff like like watermelon. People have no idea. Watermelon is full of antioxidants. It's a blood cleanser. It helps vitamins that you take get to the cells in your blood. So watermelon, and I heard that the rind is an aphrodisiac too. But watermelon itself, just that alone, has more health benefits than almost anything that you can eat. You know what I'm saying? It helps to soothe your stomach and all of that stuff. But then they make stuff like niggas love a watermelon, ha 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 ha, and then the big lips and all of that stuff. The cooning, the eating watermelon, the minstrel show.
Later on, I want you to remind me about that because I'm going to show a video in the 1960s when they were transitioning to school districts, and they go through a white neighborhood, and it shows a statue of that you said in their front yard. Like it's a normal thing. And I'm going to show you the evil of these damn devils that was only 60 years ago. That's a very good point. Let's read on because we might have to do a second part. Read on.
Those crops would then become commodities, said Carney, who spent a decade tracing such food origins by reconciling oral history with written documents.
So you can't just say that this is just us making this up. This is a woman who was a historian for 10 years, gathered information to be able to come in and write this in a book, which this writer of this article is quoting or citing this. Do you understand that our forefathers are so much more than what we've been assigned? We brought crops over, because think about it. You don't think that the brothers and sisters knew that you think they was all walking around in grass skirts and, they knew some of their people were being kidnapped. So if I know that my kids might be kidnapped, listen, if them devils come, I want you to carry these seeds with you. Keep them somewhere safe so if something happens and you get taken, you can continue to grow your food. You don't think that we talk to our children like that? You think we're that stupid? And I made a statement earlier. I'm going to tell you something. There were so many inventions that were done that black people did that we did not get credit for because we're going to look a little bit later on is they didn't even start keeping records until the 1700s, and black folks in the South were not even allowed to apply for a patent. And if you did get applied, you were instantly turned down. Many of the inventions in this country came from black Americans, Judites. Some probably Gad as well, all right? Let's read on. I got to move on.
It's no coincidence, then, that many of the agricultural practices seen in Africa were also happening in the South, said Michael W. Twitty, culinary historian and James Beard, winning author of The Cooking Gene.
So Michael T. Twitty was a culinary historian. These are people that are showing you with facts, data, oral traditions, and records that our forefathers went through this, right? Read on.
Multi-cropping, growing different types of plants in one plot, permaculture, emulating natural ecosystems, and planting on mounds, arguably the precursor of berms.
Now, real quick. So, I'm going to show you that Jeremiah 28:9 is true. What did Gad do before Judah came? They planted in mounds. They used to bury fish in there, and Gad taught the pilgrims how to survive. We already had that on the slave ships coming over. We did that too. Because why? During the time of, in Jeremiah's time, we were all, in David's time, in Solomon's time, we learned how to plant. We knew the crops. We were agriculturists. And permaculture is, if y'all get a chance, permaculture is incredible. What Esau did is a whole thing that's called the Great Dust Bowl. I don't know if y'all go Google it. Esau destroyed the farmland in the Midwest to the point where they had these great dust storms. Google it. It's incredible. Do you know that our forefathers planted in layers? Like, for example, they had fruit trees, and then in layers they would do a ground cover like a strawberry plant. Permaculture is building and designing food in layers. There's 7 layers. There's a canopy. There's a sub-canopy. There is a bush layer. That's 3. There is a ground covering. That's 4. There's a tubular root level. That's 5. There's a vining. That's 6. And there's one other one. I think it's a trellising, which they can. There was one more. But anyways, our forefathers brought permaculture and understood permaculture even as slaves. So you got to understand we were inventors like you would not believe. Let's go. We're going to read on because I don't want to take too much more time on this one. Scroll down real quick. So I want to show Henry Blair. So there's 5 total, but Henry Blair, and then I want to touch on Washington Carver, these brothers. And these brothers were responsible for agricultural inventions. So we're touching on agricultural inventions. Then, like Mikhail said, we're going to show you so many other things that we did. And I was talking to Officer Matt to ride down here. We're going to probably do every show. We're going to highlight a black historical figure, the beginning of every show, for Lord will life last. So, read on.
Henry Blair, 1807 to 1860. Only the second black man to be awarded a U.S. patent, Thomas L. Jennings, who invented an early method of dry cleaning clothes in 1821.
So this brother was the second black man, which means that there were many other black men that applied for patent. And as slaves, you couldn't apply for a patent unless if you invented something through meritorious manumission. Your master got credit, and if it made him money, he could free your simple behind. Why? Because you was a slave. Okay? Why? Because you broke God's commandments, and that's how you ended up. That's why we suffer to this day, because we broke the commandments. Read on.
Is believed to be the first. Blair designed a wheelbarrow-type corn planter to help farmers sow seeds more effectively.
Now, why do you think, leave the screen up, Blair designed a wheelbarrow-type corn planter to help farmers sow seeds more effectively? Put the camera on real quick. I wonder why a slave who was in the field all day long, planting corn and other crops, why do you think that he might be able to invent something? Wonder why. Because as a slave, you do the same thing day in, day out. You get tired of the same crap. You go crazy. Damn, you know what? Your mind starts to think, you know what? I bet you if I did this like this and like that, you know what? Let me think of tomorrow. I'm going to build on that thought. Many of the agricultural inventions of the industrial machinery and everything came through slaves because they did the work. They was hands-on. They was tired of the same crap. You can do the same thing every day. You go crazy. They say you cuckoo, right? Our forefathers were the inventors. And they didn't get the credit because they didn't have the opportunity to apply for these patents. So this brother was the second brother that applied. And this was during the time of slavery, but I believe he was a freedman at the time. Because some brothers in the North, they were able to buy their freedom, and there were free blacks. Even in New Orleans, there were free blacks in the early 1800s, which a lot of people don't realize that. Free blacks during the time of slavery in New Orleans and up north, okay? Because they were able to buy their freedom, some of them. They're still subject to black codes and things of that nature. Play on it, and I got to get done with this article. We flying.
Blair designed a wheel. All right. 2 years later, he received a second patent for a mechanical horse-drawn cotton planter.
So a mechanical horse-drawn cotton planter. So, well, our forefathers planted cotton by hand. This brother understood, I got to change some things. This is too much. I'm in the field. My mother and them is in the field by hand plant. No, I got to figure something out. He invented that. Read on.
Which increased yield and productivity.
And probably the only reason why he got it is because he made the white man some money. All right? Let's go to George Washington Carver real quick.
George Washington Carver, 1864 to 1943.
Born 1 year before the Emancipation Proclamation, lived during the time of Reconstruction. His mother and father were slaves. Read.
Peanuts, believed to have originated in South America, were brought to Spain by European explorers before making their way to Africa. They then traveled back to Western Hemisphere aboard slave ships in the 1700s.
Number one, I don't believe that. I believe God and them already understood peanuts because they had the understanding. They had the armies. They're all around. They sailed across Africa over here. The East go sit there and say that the Spanish did. Yeah, BS. Read on.
By the late 1800s, the legume had grown from a southern regional crop to one with national appeal across the United States.
Think about everything that's made with peanuts. Peanut butter jelly sandwich is the most popular sandwich probably in the history of the United States of America. Think about all the things done with peanut flour. Read.
It was around that time that Carver, who was born into slavery in Missouri,
as a young kid born into slavery, read on,
and freed as a child after the Civil War, earned a master's degree from Iowa State Agricultural College.
This goes back to the point we made a couple of weeks ago. His mother and father were illiterate. He was born as a slave. He was able to get a master's degree in less than 20-something years. That is incredible. Given the circumstances of oppression, Jim Crow, black codes, he was still able to get that and do inventions amongst all that. That is a resiliency that only the greatest people on earth could ever ascribe to. It's amazing what they were able to do during that time.
Hey, Cap.
Yes, sir.
One of the biggest reasons why a lot of them are able to come up with such feats like that is because they had that racism that was right there in their face. They knew, okay, these people don't like me. They're not going to make no way for me. I'm going to come up with ways to do this stuff myself.
Right.
Nowadays, with integration and you know, you got the Esau that'll smile in your face and date you and invite you over to their potato salad and raisin dinners and all of that stuff. You know, you think that, hey, I don't really have to do anything. We become more mentally lazy because it's like, oh, well, I don't really have.
Hey.
We can share all of this success.
Hey,
Nah.
you know what, Officer Matt? I got to go there. What you just said, see, what you said was smooth, but a lot of our listeners, they need to hear it from the white women. So I'm going to pull a video to say exactly what you just said, how all white people in the back of their mind really feel. But I'm gonna let an Edomite from the 1960s from the North tell you what you just said. Give me the article. That's it. Listen, what I'm gonna tell you something. I respect white people like this. I like white. I don't see the people at your jobs and everything. You actually, you stupid brothers, and so you actually think that they like you. You actually believe that. Well, I'm going to show you something. This is why I watched this and started smiling from ear to ear. I'm like, damn. I'm like, thank you, Becky. Because she going to tell you. And this, especially you doggone Puerto Ricans and you light-skinned so-called mulattoes, you are the worst ones because you actually think that you kin to them. You simple Israelites. Let the white woman tell you. I ain't apologizing. Play that, Officer Thomas. Yes, sir.
It'll all get in bed. And if we ever wanted to sell, naturally your house depreciates.
Pause real quick. So I'm going to set it up. So if you get a chance, watch this video. It's all about white people, and they interview other white people. Anyways, so she is talking about, look, well, they're asking her, hey, what do you think of a Negro where you had to go to school with them and move their neighborhoods? And she's like, well, she's saying, well, quite naturally, you know, one thing I would be concerned about is my property value would go down immediately, right? That's what she just said. But watch this. The next part. Play on.
Get in.
If they move in, the next step we have to accept is intermarriage.
We can be sociable with them.
Stop right here, but. Okay, now, he said, Deuteronomy 7:4, get it real quick. He said, the white man, in his infinite wisdom, said, look, if we integrate with these niggers, the next step is we're going to have to marry them. See, but guess what, Edomite? We agree with you. We agree with you. Read Deuteronomy 7, verse 4.
The book of Deuteronomy, chapter 7 and verse 3.
Yes, sir.
Neither shalt thou make marriages with them.
So we agree with what they're saying. You're not supposed to make marriages. Look, some of us might have a Chinese mother or white mother. You're an Israelite. Your father's a so-called black. We ain't talking about you. The Lord made that for, I'm just talking about in general. Read on.
Thy daughters thou shalt not give unto his son.
That's what the Bible says. Read on.
Nor his daughter thou shalt take unto thy son.
Read on.
For they will turn away thy son from following me.
And that's what happens. Now you get a brother, marries a white woman. Next thing you know, he forgot he's black. He trying to pass. He trying to go all these different functions. And the black kid grow up confused. The black kid with a black father in the house with a white woman, he grew up confused. Thinking, he wonder why grandma and them don't want daddy and you over certain times. Wonder why grandma and them saying, don't act like that. What you talking about? You acting normal. Don't act, you got life. The other ones don't got life. Talking about the kids. Now, let Becky tell you. We're going to play this twice.
Naturally, your house depreciates and is the color get in.
If they move in, the next step we have to accept is intermarriage.
We can be sociable with them in work. We can get along with them and joke with them.
Sure.
But when we leave our job and close the door and we're on our way home, We want them to go in their direction, and we can go in ours.
Pause. Please play that again. Because listen, Israel, that is some wisdom. She said, look, you go to your job, joke with them. Have a good time. How's it going? All that superficial BS, right? I know you don't care about me. I don't care about you either. I'll play the game right along with you. But at the end of the day, I'm going home to my black wife in my 12 tribes of Israel. You go do you. Too many of our brothers in the world, that's why brothers get dragged. That the brother in Texas he was hanging out with them. Okay? This is wisdom. And I'm telling you, white people like that, I can respect someone like that. Okay? Play it again.
Hey Cap.
Yes,
real
sir.
Quick, let's bring it home. That's 59 years ago. Right. Because it's in black and white, our people have the tendency to believe racism was so they had Technicolor, but most news was in black and white. This was 59 years ago. Okay? That lady, she was probably 21. She's like 80 right now. People that are in their 70s and 80s right now that are living, they were breathing and living and up and adults at that time. So let's not act like this was a long time ago. This was very recent. This was one lifetime ago. Okay, one generation, I'm going to say.
You said 59 years ago. That means the age of some of y'all's parents. Like he said, one generation ago. If she's 80 years old, she has children that are in their, let's say 50s or 60s. That means those are your teachers, your lawyers, your doctors, your police officers today.
Hey, not Donald Trump, but yeah, him too.
Donald Trump.
But Joe Biden was in high school at that time.
Yes.
What you think his parents taught him? It wasn't him 300 Ways of the Peanut.
Joe Biden wrote the 3 Strikes and You're Outlaw that called your sons and daughters super predators. They called you super predators.
Hey, man, let's let her tell, because I really, one thing that y'all should do, it will help you watch videos, watch real life of white people being racist. It'll help you, because it helps you to understand how can you change that much in a couple of decades. You've been for hundreds and hundreds of years, and now all of a sudden everything's just good. No, this is how they feel. Even the ones marry you and have sex with you brothers, you sisters, you're all the way off. You brothers, man, that don't understand that, we feel sorry for you. You better repent. Let's play on. Play it again with the woman.
It'll all get in bed. And if we ever wanted to sell, naturally your house depreciation is the color get in.
If they move in, the next step we have to accept is intermarriage.
We can be sociable with them in work. We can get along with them and joke with them.
Sure.
But when we leave our job and close the door and we're on our way home, we want them to go in their direction and we can go in ours.
Now, real quick. So I want you to go to 240 to 340. I'm sorry. Yes, 240 to 340. And I'm going to show you something. Y'all need to hear it. Some of y'all have never, I remember the first time that a white boy called me nigger. And if y'all ever, when you hear the ER sound, I don't know if you ever, like, you see a brother, hey, what's up, nigga, what's going on? That's different than when a white person who got power over you, who you might be younger and he way older than you, when he call you that you get a chill. And you're like, damn. And it's danger. And I'm going to tell you something. A lot of y'all need your wake-up call. A lot of y'all need your wake-up call. You need to listen to this. Y'all need to watch these movies, these slave movies, not to get angry, but guess what? Then take that anger, let that be fuel for your teaching. Let that be fuel for your motivation and the things you do for this truth. Because it makes the Bible real. Play that, Officer Thomas. the bat real quick. So one thing you're going to, that skirt's a little short, but one thing you're going to notice, if you see all them girls is holding their books, they're holding their books not because they couldn't get bags to hold their books, because their mothers and grandmothers have told them to put your books over your breast. That's what literally was told to them girls. Because boys, if they walk by you, don't let them even look at the silhouette of your breasts. Ask your grandmother about this. See if I'm lying. Now, the skirts is on point, but they're a little short. But all of those sisters, every single one of them, wore dresses and skirts. In school, and when they got home, they took and had longer dresses, play dresses. In this video later on, you're going to start to see the white feminist woman. They walk around in pants, which was an uncommon thing. Play on. So pause right there. Officer Matt earlier talked, this is a white neighborhood that they're going through. Officer Matt earlier spoke about when you have a watermelon and they did that thing, they do that. Well, when we play this, what this is a statue in the 1960s in a white neighborhood mocking black folks. And what he has a lantern. And I don't even know if that might be hardwired with electricity. Like that's a light pole. I'm not sure if that is. But play on and pause, get ready to pause. Pause. So what's happening is there's two white men that go around and filming black and white neighborhoods. This is the white neighborhood. See how that lamp post is? That right there, and I can't determine, I got you, I can't determine, that might actually be an electrical cord that goes up. And you see the mockery, see how one pant leg is up? That's why when niggas did that stupid stuff back in the 80s, I never understood it. That's mockery. See how one pants leg is down and one is up? I don't know if y'all, Mikael, you was you remember we used to do that?
LL Cool J.
Stupid ass.
Yes.
Yep.
They mocked the crap out of us. Look at that. Okay? That's in a white person's front yard. Okay? This is why y'all got to see this, man. This is in a white person's front with one leg up, holding a damn lamppost in a white suburban neighborhood. These white men are going around because what happened is they're going around looking at integration. Why am I going here? Because this is in the 60s, 1960s, and a lot of the times when we go back to these inventors, the inventors were 100 years before that, 80 years before that. So if we were being treated like that in the 60s, what the hell do you think they was doing in the 1860s, 1870s, 1890s? You need to feel it, okay? With that, look, Israel, we fired up. We're about to go to break. All praise to the Most High. Come back. Stay tuned. We're going into some lost black inventors. All praise to the Lord. Take it away.
Shalom. This is Bishop Nathaniel of Israel United in Christ. I have an important message about your leaders in the Christian church. Your bishops, pastors, reverends, and ministers are all lying to you and leading you straight to damnation. The truth is, you so-called blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans are the biblical Israelites, according to Deuteronomy chapter 28. Jesus Christ is a black man with white wool hair, according to Revelation chapter 1, verses 14 and 15. We as the Israelites must keep the commandments in the faith of Christ to receive salvation, as it is written in Revelation chapter 14, verse 12. I've challenged and debated Christian authorities all over the world on these issues. Not one of them has been able to negate this truth. Your pastors have led you astray, worshiping pagan holidays and false gods, just as in the days of old. So join us on our mission to restore the true nation of Israel before the decree goes forth. The work is plentiful, but the laborers are few. Visit our website at israelunite.org or call us at 855-484-4842 to learn more and visit our schools. Shalom.
Shalom, Israel. My name is Sister Zakaya from IUIC Cincinnati Camp, and I am here because I have a special announcement for you. It is almost that time again. Passover 2022, it is right around the corner. I am excited. I hope you are too. The dates are from March 31st through April the 4th. That's March 31st through April the 4th. So make sure you mark your calendars. This year's colors are brown and gold. And make sure you visit originalroyalty.com to get your official garments. One more thing, Israel. Registration details will be available soon. Do not neglect to register. Make haste. And remember, never give up, never give in. Shalom.
The Messiah is a savior and a conqueror.
Joseph, follow me.
Hey, shalom, shalom. Welcome back to Thursday Night Takeover. Precept upon precept, we're back. Black Inventors is today's show. Look, go to our website, IUIC New Orleans, subscribe, hit the bell notification, of course, share our videos. All right, we're trying to get to 15,000, then on the road to 20,000 subscribers. So please help us in our endeavors to grow and push this truth. Go back to that that timestamp with the truth about Edomites in their true form. Let's pick up with 240 to 340, and then we are going to go to the next article after that, which will be, play that real quick. So,
hey, you know, Cap, you know what? Like I was saying earlier, they tried to mind F us out of eating watermelon, you know, because black people, we ate a lot of fruit, you know, we ate a lot of vegetables, you know, and they tried to mock us for doing so. But yet we look younger than everybody. We age the best out of everybody. You know what I'm saying? Who would have thought to take a coconut and make a lotion out of it? You know what I'm saying? Who thought, hey, let me take the sap from this plant right here and rub it on my skin? How would anybody else know about that? There's a comedian, Bill Burr.
White dude?
Yeah.
Funny as hell.
Funny as hell, right? So he did a comedy special where he was saying he had never heard of lotion before. Like, he had never worn lotion. And he was always wondering, like, why black people put on so much lotion. He's like, black people get ashy. White people, we don't get ashy. So he said this black girl that he was dealing with at one time, she was sitting there putting on lotion. He's like, man, I thought she had a rash or something like that. So he's like, no, I'd get ashy. She said, you get ashy too. You just don't see it. He said, I don't get ashy. So she said, come here, give me your arm. And she rubbed her fingers across his arm. He said, dust flew everywhere. And it was all flaky and, you know, blinding and stuff like that. So it's like, wow, now I understand. You know what I'm saying? Like, why do black people have such good skin? Oh, it's because of the stuff that they eat. If you eat good, your skin looks better. If you eat bad, your skin looks worse. So you people that's eating 40 pounds of meat a week, you wonder why you got to shave off your eyebrows and draw on new ones. You wonder why you got to put on 11 pounds of mascara and all of that stuff, because you ain't take care of your skin. You take care of your insides, it's going to show through your outside. You know what I'm saying?
Well. I ain't got nothing to say else.
Hey, let's go back to show Esau, because we got to understand that I'm showing the racism of, and the reason why I could say racism, because they have the power over these jobs. They have the power over the school system, the power over the political system. They have the power, so they can be racist. So we're showing you their true nature, because they are the conquerors. We're going to show you. Play. So you keep playing. You see the sisters in dresses. There's the two guys documenting. There's the mockery in a white neighborhood. Now look at that. It's coming up soon. Some more sisters. Dresses.
Dignified.
Let's keep going, keep going. See, that's when the feminism came in. The white women walking down the street with pants on. All right, it's coming up. Pause. Why do you think all those good white Christians are gathered together around? You know what's going on? It's called integration, and a couple of black girls was trying to go into a school. Let's watch what they're gathered together for. In their Christian righteousness. Play on. Hey, stop. Why would you have all those good Caucasian Christians standing around with all those are state police officers, by the way they're dressed? Why are they there? I wonder why they're there. Law's good. Maybe the president's coming through to protect the president, right? Play on. Oh, wait a minute, stop. I see a Negro get out the car. Maybe he's a royal figure. Well, he is a royal figure, but let's play on. There is a properly dressed black woman. Now, where are they going?
Hey, these ain't the same people that told us pull ourselves up by our bootstraps, right?
So now real quick. Oh, Smack, go ahead. Do your thing.
Ain't these the same people that say, pull yourself up by your bootstraps, nigger?
We get bootstraps they stole from us?
Yeah, we gave you all the opportunities. And then soon as we go where the law says that we have to go now,
right?
Now we getting mobbed because we want to actually go and learn something? Really? That's how we was treated?
It shows you how truly intimidated they are of the 12 tribes of Israel. You had a brother who's George Washington Carver's parents were slaves. The brother got a master's degree in agriculture 20 years after being illiterate. These are things that our people persevered and overcame. Now, this is in the 1960s, trying to integrate, and they're being met, just to get an education, they're being met with a barrage of angry, good Christian folks. Now play on. We about to see, let's hear from these good Christian folks.
Throughout the North, the white American is confronted with Negro Americans demanding freedom now. As you will see, he's confronted in Chicago, in St. Louis, in Fallcroft near Philadelphia, and in the New York suburb of Malvern. And the white man is confronted here in New York City's borough of Queens. This is the construction site of a huge $96 million apartment complex and a continuing demonstration against alleged discrimination by construction unions.
And real quick, it was not alleged discrimination. It was discrimination. And it's not so much that we know discrimination is going on. I want you to hear what the white people in the audience, they're looking on, they're to antagonize, they're being interviewed by other white people who are bringing, and now you're going to hear what they think about the protesters. Listen to this.
Unions deny discrimination. The Negroes say of 2,000 workers on the project, only 150 are Negro.
So you heard that? Out of 2,000 workers on the project, this is in New York City, out of 2,000, only 150 are American black. When the population of blacks in the city was significantly, should have been a much different ratio. You should have been about 800, 900 of blacks. It's less than 10%. So they have a reason. It is open discrimination. It's clear. So now let's play on. And I'm going here because as we go through the next 3 or 4 inventors, we're going to show you times from the 1800s and early 1900s. This is from the 60s. This is 10 years before I was born they was doing this. They were doing this in the 70s in Boston. When I was a kid, they was doing this. Y'all better wake the hell up, okay? Play on.
Let's go. Jim Crow. Let's go. Jim Crow. Let's go. Jim Crow. Let's go.
We're all for the same thing here. And the main issue here, of course, is a continuing struggle against construction union, you know?
Truthfully, they want more freedom, I guess, you know, and more advantages, stuff like that. But they shouldn't show it in this way, I don't think. It makes them look stupid. It's just a waste of time, I think. Of course, instead of people thinking they're equal or people starting to like them, I think more people hate them.
So hold up. So you said people would start to hate them, but all they're doing is protesting with signs. The hate is there. And as you listen to, this is normal. Like now, white people, oh, that we would never say that. No, this is exactly the way you think. It's just that your forefathers were open with it because they had more power publicly back in the day. Play on. Then we're going to move right on.
I think they're acting like animals.
Oh, ho, what do you know? Jim Crow must go. Oh, ho, what do you know? Jim Crow must go. Oh, ho, what do you know? Jim Crow must go. Oh, ho, what do you know?
I'm just wondering.
Hey, real quick, it irked my nerves just a little bit that even in their racist chants that they have no rhythm, no soul in that. Oh, the Negro must go.
Right. So what they did, what is going on? I understand what you're saying. What they're doing is they got the white cops standing over them. So they got to really even the way that they protest. They're being monitored. So they can't even really put what they want to say into it. But yeah, that's them saying that Jim Crow got to go. Saying that look, this white practice is, but yeah, don't sound like us, Mickey. Don't sound like us because we're being pressured. We're being pressured. We're having the cops there was there to help them, and the cops put pressure on them. But play on. I want to hear a couple more stories. What the white man says about brothers who are peacefully protesting open discrimination. 150 jobs were of so-called blacks, and the other 1,850 jobs, which is supposed to be for public jobs, for a project of a $96 million project. So there's a budget for them. It's clearly 95%, literally quite over 90% are Caucasians. All right, so go ahead and play on.
It's a case of wearing out your welcome.
You heard that? Let's think about what the white man just said. The white man just said, it's a case of wearing out your welcome. Well, your demonic colonial terrorist ass, you stole us, you damn bastard. You don't have a father. You stole us, so we was never welcomed here. We're fighting for crumbs. Now, yeah, the Christian way of doing it, all of that, I get it. I understand all that. But you have the audacity to say you're wearing out your welcome? This is the point is you got to see this is the way they talk when they're not in front of you. This is how they really talk in 2022 about you. You think they don't talk, they still talk like this. Even the ones that have black so-called boyfriends, you stupid Israelites. I'm telling you.
Hey, Kat.
I done heard this in my lifetime. I heard it over and over again. When you're the only black or Hispanic and you in a position where there's 4 or 5 of them and they got power, they supervisors, and they know they got witnesses that will talk like this in front of you. Now, if there's 2 or 3 of you got numbers, now it's their word again. It's a little bit more strong. I'm telling y'all got to see this for what it is.
The same people that say we wore out our welcome, right, is the same people that will stop us from leaving this country. Right. If we all banded together and say, you know what, we're not welcome here. To your tents, O Israel.
Right.
See to thine own house, Esau. They would kill us at the border. You niggers ain't going nowhere.
Exactly.
I mean, we tried. They tried to stop us from leaving
Marcus
to go to
Garvey.
Mexico. They
Yep.
tried to stop us
Yep.
from leaving to go to Canada.
Yep. You're
They
right.
tried to stop us from leaving to go back to Africa. They made all kind of laws, and then they went over to Africa and said, no. Before they come over here, they need dual citizenship, and we're going to make it incredibly hard for them to get dual citizenship.
Mm.
So you can't even revoke your citizenship of America here without some form of serious consequence. But yet, we're wearing out our welcome. We're the ones that's we're pushing ourselves on them.
So in the spirit of Black History Month, and to your point just now, I'm going to bring up Marcus Garvey and the Black Star Line. That he tried to go back to Africa with the Black Star Line, but they said he was illegally getting funds, and they locked him up and banned him, and you can't even really talk about the man anymore. And he was trying to leave.
Trying to leave and bring his people, so-called, home. That's a very good point. Let's play. I want to hear a couple more, because you would think maybe it's just him. He's the guy, and all the other ones are good, right? All of them. And if they don't say it, they think it. Go ahead.
The snowfall. We're going to stay here until something gives. Something has to give somewhere.
I only got a few more years to live, and I want everybody else to live.
What's
Up
this?
in the mountains and hibernate.
Would you mind one way or the other?
Not a way.
Neither way.
Either way. Okay, what?
What do you think about the demonstration then?
I think they're nuts.
I'll gladly pay you Tuesday for a hamburger today looking. Bruh, you look at these dudes and they act like we're the ones that's encroaching on them. No. We built the same ground that you walking on right there. It was probably a black man that made that hat.
If you don't take your Chief Gillespie looking behind.
Hey, real quick, what I want all of you to do when you get a chance, I like to watch stuff like this. I like to see white folks being in their true form because it reminds me that the curses are real. So I wanted to preface that. Now we're going to hit a couple of vendors. We got a little bit more. I want to go to go to, let me get my words together. Go to the video. It's article number 6, YouTube. And timestamp is at 125. There was a brother named Henry E. Baker, and he went and did research about all of the many black inventors that were never being talked about, and he did it legally. This is some real power. So this is one of my favorite actors. I forget this brother's name. He's in a lot of movies. Great commentator. Y'all see him. When y'all see him, y'all know who he is. Yeah, y'all. Yes, sir.
Kind of creative contribution African Americans have made.
Y'all know this brother.
That's the art.
Yeah, that's JD. JD's Revenge.
This brother is
Mayor Clarence Royce.
This brother ain't no joke right here. So check this out from 125. He goes into about Henry E. Baker. Y'all need Henry E. Baker should be household name like Harriet Tubman. Watch what this brother does. Play.
Information on early black inventors was Henry E. Baker, an assistant U.S. patent officer and graduate of Harvard Law School. Baker dedicated his life to uncovering and publicizing the contributions of black inventors.
Stop. He spent his life tracking down and publishing black inventors. Why? Because he got a job at the U.S. Patent Office. And he realized, wait a minute, I know my people is doing stuff. So his whole life work was to, and he actually goes on and he starts to legally challenge and write letters all across the country. And he started to realize, wait a minute, a lot of black people were put in for patents. So this brother loved the 12 tribes of Israel. He loved black people. He didn't just get a job and make money and forget about it. He was trying to give credit and respect to his people and to come after him as well. Play on.
Under the auspices of the U.S. Patent Office, Baker sent out letters to lawyers throughout the country asking them to identify any black inventors they may have filed patent papers for. In 1913, patent lawyer B.J. Nolan of Chattanooga, Tennessee wrote,
Stop real quick. So, this is going to prove my point. This is a brother that actually started to search out and find out all black inventors. He used to write letters to other attorneys, and they legally had to respond because if someone filed a patent, they had to have track records. He was good about records. So he's able to compile a list of all the black inventors. So sometimes when he would write letters to these attorneys and officials, this is the response he would get back from other white people. Why do I say this? Because 50 years later in 1963, this is 1913. Here's a response from a white official. Now, 50 years later, we heard the same crap from the white people that we heard from integration. Listen to what one of the white officials, an educated white Christian, says about black inventors. Listen to this.
Never knew a Negro to even suggest an idea, much less try to patent one. And I've dealt with them Negroes all my life.
Now, rewind it again. So I want to paint the picture. This black man who had a responsibility and he made his lifelong duty to track other black inventors. He would write letters to other educated so-called white people of law. This is what one of the other white men wrote back to him. So in the midst of actually getting people to realize that we're black, he's getting these white people were writing him letters back like this. And amongst all that, he said, I see the dragon coming. You the damn devil. I'm not going to stop to pursue or be afraid to go out to my people. Play that again, please.
I never knew a Negro to even suggest an idea, much less try to patent one. And I've dealt with them Negroes all my life. Baker didn't let letters like that discourage him.
Pause. So, this is why when you hear the old generation say, y'all ain't seen nothing. This brother, his forefathers were slaves one generation back. So he's like, I already know they the damn devil. So I'm going to tell all my people to get patents and publish something to help recognize this. And when he got letters back like that, he just ward off the dust. No problem. You the damn devil. I know who you are. And that's one thing that black people had back then. We knew who the enemy was. Now, today, you forgot who the enemy is. You forgot. You forgot. Play on.
By the time of his death, his work produced 4 massive volumes and uncovered some remarkable inventions patented by black men and women.
Now stop. If this, Mosai didn't put the spirit in this brother to write his whole life dedication, 4 volumes, a lot of these inventors would have never been uncovered. Legally, he was able to find out legally. When you file a patent, you have to keep a record. He has the right to find that information out because he was educated in that realm. So he was able to compile and pull up, and now they can't deny it. They can't, but here's the point. Many, many other inventions were never, because a lot of brothers in the South could never even file a patent. So what I'm telling y'all, most of the inventions in this country were done by our people. That's a bold statement I just made. But let's play on. And please, brothers, please, I know I'm hogging the show tonight, but it's a lot of information. Play on.
In 18th century America, one black man of inventive genius made a name for himself, a tobacco farmer named Benjamin Banneker. He resembled Benjamin Franklin in stature and was one of the country's most brilliant mathematicians. Inspired by the theories of Copernicus, Banneker became a self-taught astronomer at age 6.
Stop. Listen. Did y'all hear what he just said? Benjamin Banneker in the early 1800s, during the time of slavery, at 16 years old, was a self-taught astronomer. Self-taught astronomer. If given the right opportunity, black children, black teenagers are the most intelligent people on the planet Earth. During a time when it was illegal to look a white man in the eyes, it was illegal to touch a white man when you took money from him. Y'all see the movie King Richard? Anybody see King Richard yet? Serena Williams' father in that movie says that he got his ass beat down by white men because he went and took money from a white man and touched his hand. This man is still 80 years old. This is Venus Williams' father.
Yes.
This brother was around the early 1800s, and amongst all of that, he taught himself astronomy at 16 years old in the early 1800s, a 16-year-old black teenager. You do not, they have suppressed our inventors. They have suppressed our intelligence. They have suppressed our agricultural development. They have suppressed everything and made you think that you were nothing. We were so powerful during Reconstruction. We were so powerful even during the time of slavery. We had brothers who invented stuff and they tried to cover it up. But that one brother said, nah, I work for this office now. I have access. Now I can now look it up. I can read. I can look. Oh, in California, they had this many black people invent. They had this many here. He compiled all the black inventors that the white man allowed to be published. And what about all the other ones from meritorious manumission? What about all the other ones that were invented during slavery that the white man took and said, I invented that? You give him too much credit. We give him too much credit. Our forefathers, I believe more than half the inventions in this country came from black men. I think it might be more than that. Might be more than that. Yes, sir.
Hey, that goes into Was you finished with this video?
Mm-mm. But go ahead, make your point.
That goes into go to the Smithsonian magazine. I think it's article number 2. Article number 2. So this is gonna show that, just like you were saying, Cap, there are a lot of inventions that were invented by our people, but Esau took the credit. Go ahead, go to it. Go to that spot that I told you to go to. So this is Smithsonian Magazine. All right. This is a very credible source. Go to it. Slaves' inventions exploited by owners.
Damn.
Meaning slave owners. During the 17th and 18th centuries, America was experiencing rapid economic growth. Black inventors were major contributors during this era, even though most did not obtain any of the benefits associated with their inventions, since they could not receive patent protection. Goes into exactly what you was talking about earlier, Cap.
Hey, real quick, hold that point. When it says the 17th and 18th centuries, that's talking literally about the 1600s in the 1700s. The 19th century began in 1801 and ended in 1899. The 20th century started in 1900 and ended in 1999. The 21st century started in the year 2000. So that proves that we were inventing things in the 16 and 1700s, and all of that was undocumented, where that brother was only able to get what the white man allowed, showing you that this is a beautiful article. Carry on. Mikhail, you about to jump in there.
Slave owners often took credit for their slaves' inventions. In one well-known documented case, a black inventor named Ned invented an effective, innovative cotton scraper.
So the cotton scraper was one of those machines that instead of pricking your fingers with cotton all day, picking it, it actually just took the whole bud. That's what it did. It came and took the whole bud. That way you could just knock off the ends of it. Those of y'all who have seen an actual cotton plant, you could just knock off the tips of it without busting your fingers up. Read on.
His slave master, Oscar Stewart, attempted to patent the invention because Stewart was not the actual inventor, and because the actual inventor was born into slavery, the application was rejected.
So a lot of times the inventions, they went rejected by patents because the people at the patent office would say, okay, did you legally come up with this? Oh no, I took it from a nigger. Oh well, sorry, we can't accept this because it was made by a black person. Can't accept that. So your patent is rejected. But then years later, you know what they'll do? They'll do like they did with Nikola Tesla. They'll bury his stuff for some years and then patent it later.
Yep.
Right.
And then use it later.
Hey, Cap, you're done. You watching Cap, you're done? Hey, he just sent me something about Jack Daniels. You know Jack Daniels?
Yes.
That was a slave, helped him out. Cap, you're done. Hey, brother, lose the weight, brother. Cap, that's my brother out there in Houston, known him for many years. Portly Prince, by the way. But look, Cap Yadin, all praises. Esau stole the credit for Jim Beam. Listen, y'all research on your own. Jim Beam, Jack Daniels,
Cap.
Much of this American, I'm telling you, if it wasn't for, that's why when he says we are the salt of the earth, I wouldn't be surprised. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. If 2/3 or more of the inventions in this country was done by our forefathers,
hey,
I wouldn't be surprised.
Those of y'all who think that it's a game, look up Uncle Nearest. Uncle Nearest whiskey. That is the inventor of Jack Daniels whiskey, Uncle Nearest. And you could barely find Uncle Nearest now, currently in the stores. You can barely find it.
Bruh. Look, and I'm gonna tell you right now, we're gonna do a segment in Precept upon Precept where every show we're gonna start off with some black historical, whether it be inventors, whether it be great like Robert Smalls we went over, because there's so much honor that our forefathers did, and they try to minimize our history despite our hardships. There's so much that we've done. You got some more else, Matt?
Yeah. Go back to that article. Go ahead, read that.
Stewart ultimately began selling the cotton scraper without the benefit of patent protection and made a significant amount of money doing so.
So even though he didn't get the patent, he still got the money from selling the scraper itself.
Hey, I wonder if that devil gave him freedom.
Nope.
See how he was supposed to mandatoriously give him manumissions because he made him money. But you know what a white man will say? Well, it's your fault I couldn't get patent, so therefore you don't get freedom.
Yep.
It's how the damn devil roll.
Pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
Hey, when I say the name Eli Whitney, what do y'all think of?
The cotton gin.
Hey, can we get number 4?
Ooh-wee.
Article number 4.
Bring it out.
Y'all see how everybody out there in TV land, y'all saw how when we said the name Eli Whitney, everybody in studio said cotton gin. Watch this. Hey, blow it up as big as you can. Yeah.
All right, which one do you want?
Start at But Technology.
But technology intervened. Eli Whitney patented the cotton gin in 1793. Suddenly, we could turn a profit on this terribly labor-intensive crop. How would they know it's terribly labor-intensive? They ain't do it. From then until the Civil War, the slave population increased to the astonishing level of 4 million.
So it was 4 million slaves out there picking cotton, and Eli Whitney, so-called, invented the cotton gin. Let's see.
The grand irony of all this is that the person who provided Whitney with the key idea for his gin was himself a slave, known to us only by the name Sam.
Hey, shout out to Sam. Sam invented the cotton gin because Sam was the one that was out there picking the cotton and got tired of busting his hands open. Read on, let's see. And it actually wasn't Sam, but watch this.
Sam's father had solved the critical problem of removing seeds from cotton by developing a kind of comb to do the job. Whitney's cotton gin simply mechanized this comb.
So, the father had a comb. Look, I ain't picking all them seeds out there. Cotton. Comb it out. Comb it. It probably was a pick. That's probably where the pick came from.
Ooh, that's deep. Ooh, that's deep. This brother deep. Ooh, that's that sour face deepness.
Hey, y'all. Hey, listen. I gotta tell a joke. In the 80s, there was a movie called Spaceballs. Y'all seen that?
Yes.
And it's, hey, what y'all find? And the brothers is out there in the desert, and they said, man, we ain't found shit. Y'all remember that? Watch the movie Space. Another mockery. They mocked the crap out of us. Spaceball. It was a funny movie, but Mikhail, that was a beautiful segue, because if we think that it was just Sam and his father, we're sadly mistaken. That was just one of the ones they allow us to know about. There were so many more. And this is why they're worried about what's going on right now. The 12 tribes of Israel are saying critical race theory? No, you need to hear about this. No, brothers, go back to history. We need to save all these things. That's why I went to the videos about these Caucasians in the 1960s. So what you think they was doing in the 1790s? How do you think they was treating Sam and his pops back then? In the 60s, 1960s, when we shall overcome and black boys and little white boys, they was still telling you nothing but a damn second-class citizen. They was still telling you, look, we can laugh with you, we can joke with you, but at the end of the day, you take your black ass home. I don't want to be around you. Don't be mixing with my girls. Good. That's the way we want it. That's the way God wants it. All right, now, we gotta speed up. Now, I want to cover two inventors. Did you have any more, Officer Matt?
No, you go ahead.
No,
Cap.
go ahead.
Look, there's two brothers I want to get to real quick. I want you to pull now. You might think this is small. This is huge. Pull up. Get me. Thermo King. I don't know what number it is. Hang on. Thermo King, number 9. The video. We're going to watch a quick video. The first 2 minutes and 30 seconds. His name was Frederick McKinley Jones. This was a bad brother. A powerful brother, because him and the next one we're going to get to, Mr. Elijah McCoy, they changed the face of America. They changed the face of how America did business. These black men. Let me tell you something. This is some power. Let's play the video. Beautiful.
In 1921, a speedy contraption skidded across the snow-covered fields of Minnesota's Red River Valley. An airplane propeller, car engine, and other parts were cobbled together into one of the first snowmobiles ever built. The man behind the
Stop real quick, hold up. Number 1, all of the people in the snowmobile and watching it were all white people. Just to be clear. Because black people, we don't really deal with snowmobiles. But it took the mind of a black man to figure out how they could play in the snow. The black man invented that. This brother, what's his name again? Damn, how dare I forget? Frederick McKinley Jones, in his early life after World War I, invented the modern snowmobile. But that's nothing. Let's move on. That's not
That was Frederick McKinley Jones, an African-American tinkerer turned engineer, whose work would change his hometown of Halleck, Minnesota, and later change the world.
You know why? You know why I did that? I remember me and Captain Paolu, we went to Minnesota in January. Stepped off the plane, it was 0 degrees. Because they got nothing but snow, nothing to do. So their brother's like, all right, well, let me just, I'll make a snowmobile. You know how smart you got to be to develop a snowmobile? He developed that. So this is in his early life. Watch what the brother does next. Play.
He sought knowledge and sought understanding. So, I mean, not only did his interest in the world and technology lead to a great career for him, but it also led him down all these different paths.
When he was a boy, Fred liked to tinker with his father's pocket watch. Eventually orphaned, Fred turned his tinkering toward early automobile.
Stop real quick. Hold up. See, we might have missed that. It said when he was a boy, he played with his father's pocket watch. Then, we're going to go 10 months over. Then, guess what he said? Then they said, then he was an orphan. So wonder what happened to Dad. A lot of times they would just lynch black men during that time.
Mm-hmm.
So he used to play with his his watch. So I just want to share with you the historical context behind a black man in the North or the South. You was fair game in hunting. But like Malcolm Little, his pops was murdered on a railroad track. Said it was an accident. They did that to brothers, or they just took you out. Now, let's go back to the history of this brother. So he had a pocket watch. He ends up taking it apart as a boy. But watch what he does after he figures out the internal components of the pocket watch. Watch what this brother does. Play on.
Working odd jobs throughout the Midwest, Fred ended up on a large farm
Hold
in
up, we just
northwestern
skipped
Minnesota.
something. Hold up. think we skipped. Yeah, if we could turn the volume up, a couple of people were saying it might be a little bit low. If you can't do anything about it, it is what it is. If we can, yes.
Career for him, but it also led him down all these different paths.
When he was a boy, Fred liked to tinker with his father's pocket watch. Eventually orphaned, Fred turned his tinkering toward early automobiles. Working odd jobs throughout the Midwest, Fred ended up on a large farm in northwestern Minnesota run by Walter Hill, son of empire builder James J. Hill. Here, Fred found work as an engineer, and he found a home in Halleck. The year was 1912. This phenomenal fix-it man kept Halleck up and running in these early days of gas engines and electricity. After fighting in World War I, Fred Jones returned to Halleck and to his lifelong passion for automobiles. At the tracks around the region, Fred would run into a lot of bigoted drivers and race organizers, but all things were equal when the flag was dropped.
Pause. So remember, he invented the snowmobile. Now he has a love of driving, and he was an engineer. He kept a lot of the town growing. This is way up north in northern Minnesota. So now he's dealing with all these bigoted, racist drivers, but at the end of the day, he was whooping their ass in the races. But this is going to build up, because what he did is, with his love of automobiles, he changed the way the American economy, everything about the way the American economy moved with regards to transportation and distribution. Watch this.
Dominated the area's races. Off the track, Fred's tinkering went beyond cars. His fix-it work was often to help a fellow Halleck resident to meet the need of a neighbor. A local doctor complained to Fred about having to constantly haul aching patients from their rooms to the hospital x-ray station. Fred devised a portable x-ray machine. Radio had become a huge part of American life by the 1920s.
Did y'all hear that? He devised a portable X-ray machine. This dude is an absolute genius, a genius. Okay, let's play on.
20s. Fred and a partner created microphones and transmitters. With the advent of talkies, sound was also becoming part of the movies. But the owner of Halleck's Little Gym Theater couldn't afford a new sound system.
Hey, hold on. We wind that just a little bit. We wind it a little bit right to after he invented the portable X-ray machine. We got to hear that last part again.
Little X-ray station. Fred devised a portable X-ray machine. Radio had become a huge part of American life by the 1920s. Fred and a partner created microphones and transmitters.
It said he created microphones and transmitters. Basically, he invented the walkie-talkie.
Damn.
That's what they're saying, isn't it? Or am I mishearing that?
Yes. What's going on is every time there's a need, he makes it.
Right.
Like, oh, I'm tired of hauling patients from here to there. All right, I'll just make something that you can haul that from there to there. Oh, we got sound that's coming out now. All right, well, I'll just make a microphone and a transistor so, we can talk back and forth. Sound is starting to come over in the movie theater. I know he's going to say they couldn't afford no sound, so he made the damn speakers. I know that's what they're going to say right now. He made some speakers for the movie theater in a white town that couldn't afford it.
Wait, and let's Mikael, this the point I want to get to is when I learned this should send a lot of pride of your nation. This brother was an orphan, man. And he is just, this is why when I hear this, as a former school teacher, when I hear the dropout rate of black kids and you hear about black kids not wanting to go to school because they feel like the school's not for them, it's all mental, because they're the most brilliant children on the planet Earth if they would just wake up and realize and look at the history, what these brothers had to overcome. And watch. Let's play on. And I want get the article next about article number Frederick McKinley Jones, MS Hall of Fame. Get that next. Play on.
With the advent of talkies, sound was also becoming part of the movies. But the owner of Halleck's Little Gym Theater couldn't afford a new sound system, so he went to Fred for a favor. Halleck's handyman devised a film sound system that was so innovative, it caught the eye of a Minneapolis entrepreneur named Joe Numero. Numero later admitted when a black man entered his office, he thought it was a joke.
I'm sure he was surrounded by others who may have at times doubted his ability. However, I'm sure that there were people who got it and then were able to support him.
Numero and Jones started working together. As he did for his neighbors in Halleck, Fred's work was often responding to calls for help and tackling problems that needed solving. In 1938, when his boss asked him to figure out a way to keep food from spoiling during overland transportation,
this is it right here.
Fred Jones went to work.
Remember, he was born, his father passed away, he was an orphan. Now we're into 1938. There's a problem in America. One of the problems in America is we've got this milk, we've got this produce, we got this seafood, we got this. We only can sell it locally. The brother got an idea. Well, what if I create something to solve that problem? And watch what he does. This is beautiful. Play on.
Tackling problems that needed solving. In 1938, when his boss asked him to figure out a way to keep food from spoiling during overland transportation, Fred Jones went to work. What he came up with was the world's first system for refrigerated transportation. The technology was applied to trucks and trains.
Pause right here. Listen to me. This brother came up with refrigeration for vehicles because his white boss asked him, and he was so brilliant that none of the other white people in the whole world could figure it out at the time. I'll use my engineering skills, my creativity, and I'll solve a problem. I'll create a way to keep food cold on trains, cars, and also other vehicles. Mikael, come on.
A lot of our truck drivers, they know him as reefers. A black man invented the reefer.
That's right.
All y'all that's making that big money driving reefers.
That's right.
You got a brother to thank for it.
And guess what? He also made it possible for the modern day blood banks. Because when you store blood, blood has to be stored at a certain temperature. And he made a lot of things possible that help with subsequent later wars. Let's play on.
In the company Jones and Numero would call Thermo King. Fred Jones made it possible to ship and receive perishables year-round. The supermarket was born.
Stop. This is why, listen, this is why when you brothers teach the Holy Bible, and you give me Deuteronomy chapter 7. When you brothers teach the Holy Bible, and the Lord says this, you better start crying this out from the mountaintop.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6.
Listen to the Bible.
For thou art an holy people.
Man, we are holy people. Read on.
Unto the Lord thy God.
That's right.
The Lord thy God hath chosen thee to be a special people.
Man, that brother is a special brother. He had a problem. He created refrigeration for rails and cars, which made possible for the modern day supermarket. That man made it possible for you to go to Walmart and get a doggone frozen burrito. That brother inspired it, because before the supermarket, what you had? Local farmers markets. They had a big giant block of ice once, and that would only store for so long. That man, that brother, and guess what? After that, guess what came out of that technology? The modern day air conditioner that you have for your home. This brother, an Israelite, during the time of Jim Crow, during the time before the civil rights, invented that in the north part in Minnesota. And among bigotry, among racism, among them calling him, he walked into the dude's office 20 times smarter than this damn heathen Edomite, and the Edomite doubted him. And you doubt yourself? Read it again, please.
The book of Deuteronomy chapter 7 and verse 6.
Come on.
For thou art an holy people unto the Lord thy God.
That's right.
The Lord thy God had chosen thee to be a special people.
That's right.
Unto himself.
That's right.
Above all people that are upon the face of the earth.
And that's why we telling you, brothers and sisters, that the 12 tribes of Israel are above all people. And the proof is he was an oppressed man. And during that time, hell, in the 60s and 70s, we was oppressed. We had the proof of it. This brother invented modern-day refrigeration, and it started on cars and trains because they had to solve a problem. Out of that came refrigeration sections or chillers in a supermarket, the deep freezer sections where you can get your frozen pizzas and all this different thing, frozen fruits. He made it, this brother made possible the fact that now you could take produce and you could freeze the berries, freeze the doggone vegetables. Freezing came out of that because you can't get to freezing unless you get to cool first. This is amazing. And guess what? We just touching the surface. We touching the surface. This show is flying by. Play on real quick, Mikael. Play on.
Thermo King. Fred Jones made it possible to ship and receive perishables year-round. The supermarket was born. During World War II, Fred adapted the technology for the Army to help bring blood plasma and food to soldiers in the field.
Pause. So what did the brother do? The technology that he invented, he said, you know what? All right, so you got a problem in this war? I'll tell you what. I'm going to take my invention and adapt it. So this way here, you could bring the blood plasma, the blood to the troops in the front line, and you can bring food that won't spoil to the front line. So he adapted and evolved his own inventions. This was a black man, an Israelite, who invented this. And you know what? Why the hell is this not being celebrated in American, the hell with black, American history? This is power. This is power beyond, and guess what? There's brothers that did greater things than this. Okay? Go ahead, Mikael. Officer Matt, what you got to say?
I was in Walmart earlier today, and I was watching like videos like how you put, Esau back in the day saying all of that stuff about us. And when I'm around them in Walmart and I see them old Edomites, the first thing come to my mind is, you hate my guts. Exactly. I know you hate me being in here, but guess what? You can't stop it. Now I can go in there, and with what you just showed just now, like, yeah, you picking fruit out of a place that my forefather helped to even make possible for you. You picking black man cold fruit right there.
That's right.
Yeah, go ahead, pick that black man cold fruit right there from out that nice cold refrigerated area of the supermarket that you can go to. Yeah, we made that possible.
That's right.
Yeah, we did that for you. And I'm walking around with my nose up like, you're welcome. You're welcome.
Right.
Yeah, you're welcome.
And hold up. And think about it. The white boys is all sitting around, man, we're not having any fun in the damn snow, man. He's like, all right, man, shut your ass up. All right, man, I'll invent you a snowmobile then.
Exactly.
This brother is, listen, that takes the special people, right? Now, real quick, let's finish the video because the article is going to say the same thing. Let's play on the rest of the thing because the brother continued to do things throughout his life. Read it, play on.
His technology that started off as a simple thing here in Minnesota ended up saving lives. And while there have always been black scientists and black engineers, their stories have not been in the forefront. And so having a Fred Jones, knowing his story, I think that's incredibly inspiring.
Since his death in 1961,
Frederick Jones. He lived until 1961. This is why we have to bring this out, because this black man changed the face of the United States of America. What is the biggest thing that in the American household that unites all families? And that's a supermarket and the transportation of food, fruits and vegetables and produce. That is, before all this packaged Twinkies and all that, there was predominantly Whole Foods. And this brother invented that, helped to save lives in war. All these things that a black man did in a time when a black man wasn't even considered a man. He died before Martin Luther, before he got civil rights, he already died. So my point before we end the show is, and next week, Lord, unless we go into Putin and Russia, there's a couple other inventors I want to, real quick, I want to look at one other thing. I want to do one more. I know we're going over. I want you to get the video on my brother. Mikael, you had someone that was real dope too. There's an article on a brother named Elijah McCoy. There's an expression you will hear, especially those of us who are 40 and over. There was an old saying, are you the real McCoy? There's a term. That means you the real deal. You the real McCoy? The reason why people say that is because a black man changed the way and revolutionized the way that things moved in this country before the other brother. This was during the time of the 1800s. So can we, you got that article? Yeah, watch it. We're gonna go through this and we're gonna end the show. Next week, Lord's will, we might do part Putin and what's going, and then part Black inventors. But check this out. The prolific inventor helped to give us the phrase "real McCoy."
Elijah McCoy was the real McCoy. Maybe.
Not maybe. Play. Read on.
The inventor held 57 United States patents, mostly related to the railway.
Why is that so important? Those of you who understand history, what changed this is before refrigeration, what changed the face of the United States of America was the connection of coasts and mountain ranges through the modern steam train. The steam, that changed everything. Why? Because before that, you had sailboats, and you had horse and buggies, and you had, that's pretty much it. That's what you had. Very rudimentary forms of travel. The train changed everything. This brother did something to train technology that just revolutionized and sped up all the other technologies. Let's go back to your article.
His inventions, which were not headline making outside of the field of steam engines, were associated with quality and good function, that people began using the real McCoy to refer to quality products.
So it was a brother, he made something that allowed trains to lubricate themselves. I'm going to give you a brief history. Anytime a steam engine would travel, when it stopped, they have to get out and lubricate all of the parts that would be metal on metal. This black man invented something that all moving parts starting on the train could lubricate themselves. Self-lubrication. Why is that important? Because from that, innovation spawned, and it kept going and going. And then it was able to do the same thing for cars and other things. These things a brother invented. Now, go back real quick.
Like many other black inventors, McCoy faced racism and exclusion in his work, but his lengthy career was a successful one.
So despite being born during the time of 1843 as a slave and overcoming all of the racism, bigotry, Jim Crow, and just terrorism that we faced during that time, he still had a successful career. See, that goes back to Deuteronomy 7:6. When a man, you purposely try to keep him down, and he still succeeds. That is what Israelites are known for. All right, read again, read on.
McCoy was born on this day in 1843 to George and Amelia McCoy, former slaves from Kentucky who had escaped to Canada on the Underground Railroad.
Remember what the white man said, and you were not, you're welcome. Like Officer Matt said, we did a show. Well, we knew we wasn't welcome, so we tried to get the hell out of we tried to get to Canada. We tried to get to the Underground Road to Canada and the other Underground Road that led down to Mexico. And when we tried to escape, you tried to get us back. So what you talking about, we're not welcome? It goes right back to full circle around this Deuteronomy 28, verse 48, and your enemies in all things. You want freedom, you got to go to your enemy. You want an invention, before the patent, you had to get permission to get an invention that you invented. Okay? Go back. We almost done.
After living in Ontario for several years, the family moved to Detroit following the Civil War. Elijah was educated in the city and in Edinburgh, Scotland.
And a lot of brothers had to go to France and had to go to different countries because the white man, although he's still the devil, in Scotland and France, they were a little bit less of a devil. You could actually go and be a man. You could get an education. Yeah, they might call you all different names, but they wouldn't stop you. He could go to school out there. And that's why when you read about Josephine Baker, a lot of brothers would go to France because they were treated a little bit better than the American white man. The reason why the white man had to change his policies because other white countries would see video when the television came up, and the other white people started to point fingers and say, look at what you're doing. You making us look bad. It was the international pressure from the television. That's what, not because we was marching, because the other white countries said, look at this. You're supposed to be the home of the free and the brave. You doing that to your own citizens. They brought, the television, the black and white TV brought international attention to that. Don't get it twisted. And so brothers knew that. They went to get an education in Scotland, okay? Read on.
He eventually came back to the States and ended up working for the Michigan Central Railroad. Although McCoy was educated as an engineer, writes the Canadian Railway Hall of Fame, the discriminatory management of the railroad thought a black man could not be an engineer, and he was hired to work in the boiler room of trains as a fireman.
You know what that meant? His job was to take coal or wood and just put it in the oven. That's what a fireman did. The Negroes, they could serve stuff on a train, and you put the stuff to make the fire go. That's what a fireman was. That's all he got to do. This man was in Scotland who had a degree in engineering. And the bigotry was, black men can't think. Put him in the boiler room. Watch what he did. Watch what he did. Read on.
Then in 1872, McCoy invented and patented an automatic oiling device for the moving parts of steam locomotives. What is that? Colloquially known as the oil drip cup. McCoy's patented device was quickly adapted by the railroads, by those who maintained steamship engines, and many others who used large machinery.
His patent was so powerful and so intelligent that it did not just work for railroad lubrication, it also worked for steamships, which made steamships be able to run longer. So this brother, who was up against bigotry, who had a degree in engineering, who was told just be the fireman, all that, he still created something that changed the face of America, and he gets no credit. He gets no damn credit from the mainstream. We almost done.
Go back up. I want to get that year again. It said 1872. Right there. 1872. It is 7 years after the Emancipation Proclamation. This black man invented and patented basically an oil pan, but I was going to say an industry-changing device 7 years after slavery.
And to your point, that was in 1872. Here it is 2022, so that's 150 years later. The expression with anything that you make, is that the real McCoy? Is that the real McCoy? Is that the real deal? Because guess what? It took a black man to make the realest thing that changed the innovation of steamships and the steam locomotive engine. It changed the way things were done. He made it possible for the Industrial Revolution to come upon and thrive. Okay? All right.
So Cap, when it come to Israel, we the real McCoy.
That's
right. That's it. Hey, and with that, we're going to end the show with that.
You know what I'm saying?
You heard with that? The Israelites, we the real McCoy.
That's
we
right.
the real Jews. All praise the Lord. So look, we get ready to close out. We went over a little bit. Next week, we're going to come back with some more black inventors, and we're going to touch a little bit on the war over there in Ukraine. All right. So with that, we're your hosts, Precept upon Precept. We got to phase out with our exit. All praise the Lord. So look, welcome to another edition. Thank you for joining us. We're a little bit late. I'm Captain Shem with Precept upon Precept, and the brothers to the left.
Officer Matthew.
Officer Mikael.
And with that, Israel, we say shalom.
Shalom.
You listening to Precept on Precept. Captain Shem break it down to no meat left. Line upon line in the word, make you respect. History collegiate when we teach it, brains reset. You listening to Precept on Precept. Captain Shem break it down to no meat left. Line upon line, the word make you respect. History collegiate, when we teach it, brains reset. Putting in the work for the most high. Valley of the bones coming back and we gon' ride. Showing you our past didn't start with that boat ride. We a nation made of kings, yeah, we chose right. Bringing our identity back. We the praise of the Lord, they pretend to be that. True, there is something special, they can never be that. We raise Avengers with the knowledge so our enemies crack. In fact, listen to the class and the topic. Bomb subject matter, breakdowns atomic. Gathering the people, the whole duty of prophets.